Hi, my name's Rob Cornish and I'm a home inspector in Ottawa, Canada. I produced this video, Tips for Successful Home Inspection. To find a good inspector, check their qualifications, make sure they're a member of a professional association. In Ontario, the Ontario Association of Home Inspectors, OAHI, is a good choice. Across Canada, it might be CAPI, the Canadian Association of Home and Property Inspectors. In the States, the American Society for Home Inspectors are all good choices. They require a community college level program of about 10 courses. You want to make sure your inspector has finished all their training. And an independent referral source is advisable. OHI.com and the other associations for that matter list their members. If you enter in your region or postal code, they'll give you a list of candidate inspectors. Make sure that they only do home inspections and that they're not contractors. The home inspector is there to give you independent, unbiased advice. They should not be finding repair projects and renovations that they might benefit financially from. By all means, call up the inspector and ask a few questions. Make sure that you have a rapport. You're comfortable talking with them, that they're interested in your questions. While you've started this relationship, make sure you're being a good client as well. If you want a professional to work for you, you need to respect the members of your team. Give them an accurate description of the house. It doesn't have to be totally precise, but rough size, location, age. Let them know if there's anything that worried you about the house when you went through on your buying tour. And don't undermine the relationship by trying to price shop them or offering cash deals. Remember, this is a professional that's working for your best interests. Book a reasonable time and make sure you've got a few days left before your condition expires. You may have to have additional inspections in for either repairs or specialized inspections. So you want to have a few days to schedule those as well before you lose control of the deal if you ask for an extension. You're asking for a home inspector to have a good look at the house. It only makes sense that you want to schedule that in daylight. Weekends, some inspectors work weekends. I do, others don't. So weekends are a possibility in some cases. And everybody likes to have holidays to be with family, so be respectful of that. There may come a time when it's a busy period and the schedule is really driving you to complete the inspection, but there's really, in my opinion, a limit to how many inspections an inspector can do in a day and do a good job. So it's better to be fresh out of the box the next day than to try and force a third inspection into the same day. Really, the limit is 2. Your inspector should send an advance copy of the contract and the standards of practice that they're working towards when you book the inspection. Make sure you take the time to read those carefully and understand what's going to happen with the service that's being provided, the things that are being looked at, the things that aren't being looked at. It avoids wasting time when you show up at the inspection. Certainly you get a chance to go over it before you begin the inspection, but whatever you can do to prepare in advance will save time and allow you to ask better questions. And have realistic expectations of the inspector. Help to keep things on track. The inspector wants you to be with them and asking questions, but you don't want to distract their focus. They've got a lot of things to look at, so try and ask those questions in the room that's being inspected at the time. Make a note. If you have questions for another room, be sure to ask them when you get there. And there are generic questions that really don't add value to the process. The inspector is not pass or failing the house. He's identifying defects, giving you more information for you to make your buying decision. don't ask them if they would buy the house or whether you should buy the house. You're the only one that can answer that. And their needs may be different than yours, so whether they would buy the house or not isn't really relevant. Um, Asking who the good and bad builders in town are. Well, we all have opinions, but I've found in my experience that it varies much more based on the crews that were working any given day or house. Same builder may have a very high quality house and not so good the next time, and it's just a matter of conditions and timing and who is there and what issues came up on site. Um, Cost estimates are beyond the scope of a home inspection. Um, the contractor is the one who's going to be on the hook to deliver for that price, and you really should get the numbers from them. We'll give you an indication of whether we think it's a significant effort or not. And if you have questions about what the possible solutions may be, we're happy to talk about those as well. But don't expect cost estimates on every repair as you go through. Um, this is key. Make sure you're present at the inspection. I've had clients that thought they were too busy to come and see the inspection, and they just look at the report afterwards. You're never going to have the full understanding of what was seen, no matter how good the report is, and you want to have your opportunity to ask questions while you're there. Don't bring distractions. Multiple kids, pets, having phone calls going off. You're distracting the inspector, and you're not really being present mentally to assess the home. And make sure you leave some room in your schedule. If you're really worried about that extra appointment that you kind of crammed in, hoping you'd get through this inspection in no time at all, that's going to weigh on your mind, and you're going to be thinking about that instead of the inspection. Normally you're going to want about 2.5 hours for a single inspector to go through a house. A good inspector will take longer than that if there are major issues and need further consideration. But don't book yourself so that you're so tight that you've just got to get out of there and you're missing the value that you're paying for. Don't be a yabbit. What's a yabbit? That's somebody who isn't listening. As soon as you mention a defect that may be an issue, they'll say, yeah, but that doesn't really matter. Take the input, consider it. You'll have time later to judge your response to it. If you're so emotionally attached to the property that you don't want to hear anything, then you're not getting the value you're paying for. Reading the report. Make sure you take the time to read your report thoroughly. The major deficiencies or safety issues will be in the summary section up front, but there's detail in the report that follows, and make sure you've gone through the entire report until before you waive your conditions. Sometimes there's pressure to just do the deal and get it done because the house seems fine. Just take that extra time to make sure you understand what you're getting into and what your positions are on various defects. Um, Different families have different impacts of the same deficiency. If your spouse is a tradesperson, various deficiencies may have very little impact for you. There's no financial concerns. You can deal with it yourself. If you have relatives who are carpenters or electricians, plumbers, etc., that may bode well for you, and that house is quite attractive and doesn't need any further negotiation necessarily. On the other hand, if you're not handy and you don't know anybody that's handy, you need to get into the estimates and understand what the impact of those deficiencies is going to be. And get more than one estimate. There is a range out there. Sometimes there's a tendency to sell the big solution when a repair will do. If there's a minor issue with the house, it's only fair to treat it as a repair unless you're planning to fund the difference for an upgrade. If the issue is more extensive, as in perhaps the shingles are all worn out across the entire house, that's a different story. But if it needs a repair, get a quote for a repair. And you might need to discuss the timing with an agent. If there's water getting into the house, that needs to be repaired right away. You may have some time before closing. If it's a matter of months, there can be tremendous damage in that time. So make sure that things are getting dealt with in a timely fashion. On the other hand, there are other defects which can be put off for some time, and you can deal with those after you own the property. I hope this video has been helpful and that the suggestions you take to heart. Inspection is a key part of your due diligence of one of the largest purchases you're going to make. Stay upbeat, see the potential, don't worry about defects. They're just a few challenges that you need to surmount, and it's better to know now that there's something that can be nipped in the bud rather than deal with a bigger problem later. As always, the decision to buy or not remains your responsibility, so you want to make sure that you see, listen, and assess all of those problems yourself. For more helpful material, you can look at our website at www.HomeXam.ca. There's several articles there that will be of benefit to you. I wish you the best of luck with your new purchase. I hope you and your family are happy in your new home for many years.